Hello, friends. I'm Daniel Mateola, and I have another nugget for you today, which is titled Rejecting the Spirit of Fear. I want to encourage you about rejecting the spirit of fear. If there's one spirit that we have to be very, very determined to have victory over in these times that we're living in right now, it's the spirit of fear. This spirit was unleashed by the kingdom of darkness on a global scale about a year ago. And I have reasons to believe that this spirit has been responsible for more deaths than the actual flu virus, the coronavirus itself. What the Lord did for us, which I'm so grateful for, many months ago, to be precise, the month of March 2020, was to give us a warning prophetically. The Lord gave us a prophetic warning in our church family, and He said, make sure whatever you do with what you begin to hear in the news that is breaking in the world at the beginning of the whole virus outbreak, that make sure you reject the spirit of fear. In a few short teachings, I want to talk to you about the spirit of fear and how to make sure you reject the spirit of fear. I believe with all of my heart this has been a tremendous blessing in my family, in our church family. We are doing fine. We've been meeting face to face, having 3 services since July last year, with the exception of a 1 month lockdown period when we were legally or by government regulation not allowed to do it. Now, someone would say, don't you think you've been taking a risk? No, because we were not afraid of what most people were afraid of. God had helped us to deal with the spirit of fear. And to the glory of God today, I can tell you, in the Kingdom Faith Church family, no deaths, no sickness, not one person is down today. And we are so grateful to the Lord for his care. The Bible in the book of Second Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 says, "For God has not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind." I repeat, this is Paul the apostle writing to his spiritual son Timothy, who was responsible for pastoring a whole bunch of folks, that but God, or for God has not given you the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind. I believe with all of my heart that there are certain areas of captivity suffered by mankind that are only possible because of our ignorance of the spiritual forces behind it. One of the tricks that the enemy likes to play on us is to make us think that what we're dealing with is in the natural when he's actually behind it. Like I've said to many, and we started with this understanding in our church family a year ago, that the enemy was behind the virus outbreak. And the enemy had unleashed a lot of different spirits, including spirits of deception, spirits behind misinformation of the media, a lot of the lies that was spread. And of course, the major culprit spirit was the spirit of fear. Fear has become a very deadly force today. Fear has the power to cripple, and hence it can rob you of your today, and if you're not careful, it can affect your tomorrow. Many of us, for example, in the body of Christ, have made a lot of decisions in the last 1 year based on fear. Of course, some of us would like to justify it and say we're just being wise, but the real truth is we were afraid of something, hence the reason why we made the decision we made. Let me talk to you a little bit about fear. The best way I can describe fear is with the 4 letters in which someone has actually made this 4 letter into an acronym for false evidence appearing real. Fear is an unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by anticipation of a negative outcome or awareness of danger. Let me define fear again. Fear is an unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by anticipation of a negative outcome or awareness of danger. So when you are afraid, you have these emotions, these strong emotions that tells you something negative is about to happen. Now, the danger with fear is that it can also create strongholds in your mind, particularly when what has caused you to become afraid is a lie. You see, according to the Apostle Paul, he said there are demon spirits that are assigned to cause you and I to experience these strong emotions and anticipation of danger. These spirits are called the spirit of fear. They are used by the devil to cripple individuals, because when you come under the spirit, you become afraid, you don't think right, you make wrong decisions because you are overwhelmed with this emotion of danger. I mean, in the last 1 year, oh my God, I can't count how many people who heard some false data, false medical reports. I remember the United States of America, some doctors came out or some specialists came out and said they're projecting that 2 point something million people would die. Lie from the pits of hell. I remember also just not so long ago, a governor from the state of South Dakota, Governor Kristi Noem, she's actually a believer, how she talked about when she made the decision not to lock down her state. She didn't lock down people from going to work, didn't lock down people from going to school. She did not even make mask mandatory in her state since last year. And she said she had some of the specialists send her information saying, oh, you'll have up to 10,000 admissions in the hospital at the same time. She didn't buy into that fear. And to the glory of God, today, she said the worst they ever had was a maximum of 600 people hospitalized at the same time. Today, they have better results, including death results and infection results, than most of the other states in America that was locked down by fear. That is New York City, California, and other states like Michigan. And the people have been gripped so much by fear that many have died as a result of that fear. Now, importantly, I also want to share with you, fear works just like faith, even though it's the opposite of faith. And the reason why I say that is because faith is a magnetic force that attracts the positive outcome we want in life. Fear can also be a magnetic force attracting the negative outcome that you don't want. Faith permitted, or fear permitted rather, is faith contaminated. So this is how it is. Fear, in a sense, is faith in the fact that a negative outcome will happen. Now, you are afraid of something usually that has not yet happened based on an information that you're given about something they claim to have happened. So when if I was the devil and I want to get you afraid, I will give you a lot of information, bombard you with a lot of information of negative news of what has happened. Some of it could be lies, but if you believe me, then you will come under the strong emotions that there's a possibility of this negative outcome happening to you as well. It's happened all over the world. There are nations like Nigeria, tropical nations with a lot of heat, where we know from the early discovery of the scientists that the virus would not be able to stay alive. But yet, I talk to people in this nation all the time, and many are scared unto death of a virus that is a flu virus. They don't even have flu in that country. Now, I know there's some sort of infection may have gone into the country or whatever, but not to the level of the fear that I perceive from many, including those that are part of the church. A country with over 120 million citizens, and yet today cannot claim of 1,000 deaths related to COVID, and yet the people are so afraid. Even church leaders in some cases are afraid. That is how powerful the spirit of fear is. Now, I'm going to just share with you one or two of examples of fear, and then in the next broadcast I will share some more with you of the different manifestations of fear. But the one that I really want to share with you is the fear of evil happening to me. The fear of evil happening. You know, it's interesting. Job is one of those characters in the Bible that many of us would talk about as someone who didn't do anything and God allowed him to be tested on a very serious level. And many would ask questions like, but Lord, why did you allow that to happen to Job? Well, there was one verse in the Bible that I found out, and we can easily extrapolate truth from that verse. It's in Job chapter 3, verse 25, where Job made the statement, for the thing that I greatly feared had come upon me. Then I remembered in the first chapter of Job that the Bible said he would do sacrifice because he was afraid that his children had sinned against God. I wonder why he didn't really just make sure the children were living right by ministering to them. And guess what happened when the devil was given permission to hurt Job? The first thing he went for was those children. All of his children died in one day. I want to warn somebody out there. If you open the door to fear in your life, what you fear the most, you may begin to attract into your life. That is one of the reasons why it's important to reject the spirit of fear. Now, I'm going to share some more with you in broadcasts to come about the need to reject the spirit of fear. But I just want you to just hold on to this one truth. Fear is real. Fear is strong emotions. And there are spirits called spirits of fear that are used by the kingdom of darkness to get people to be under this strong emotion of expecting negative outcome. Why don't I challenge you? Rather than negative outcome, why don't you expect positive outcome? In our church, we've been making declarations since a year ago. This virus, if it touches me, it will die. And that's our testimony. Every single person who have had any kind of flu in the flu season, God kept us totally free. And in the flu season, a few people had flu, very small percentage in the church family. And with everybody that had any kind of flu virus, they defeated it, meaning the virus touched them and it died. That's the faith we are releasing. Begin to release your faith today and make sure you reject the spirit of fear. God bless you. This is Daniel Mateola. Bye for now.